Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us today. We're so excited and happy to have you here. Um, we can't wait to share with you and discuss monoproof and all the bits about monoproof. We're going to start in a few minutes, but while we wait for others to join, we would like to connect with you. We would like to we'd like you to introduce yourself. So there's a chat box at the bottom right. You can share your name, tell us where you're joining from, um, what you're currently doing, what exciting projects you're working on, or just anything you would like to share with us. We want to connect with you. So just your name and where you're currently joining us from. And we'll start in a few minutes from now. Thank you once again for joining us. Also, if you have any questions or you want to talk to anybody from our team, you can also do so with the chat box. From our team would also be there to reply to your messages and respond to you as well. Okay, we'll start at exactly 4:05 p.m. But while we wait, um, I can see some introductions already rolling. Please, we want to connect with you. We'd like to know where you're joining us from, and who you are, what you're doing, any exciting stuff. And at exactly 4:05, we'll start. Thank you very much for joining us today. All right. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Kome Olumo. I'm a content marketer here at Mono. And with me today, we have the CEO and founder of Mono, Abdul Hassan. We also have Prince DC, who is a product manager for financial data and identity product. We have King Kenway Davidson as well, who is the team lead for our partner integrations team. And together we'll be discussing Monoprove and how discussing Monoprove, the mission, why we built it, and how it's set to transform how businesses verify and onboard customers um, today. We would also have a product demonstration to show you how Prove works live, and we'll talk you through ways you can get started and integrate Prove into your product. To start the session and begin the webinar, I'll be passing the mic to Abdul to introduce us to Mono in case you're just hearing about Mono for the very first time, and also introduce Prove and talk us why we built Prove and the Prove mission. Hi, Abdul. Over to you.
All right. Thanks, Kume. And good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're joining us from. Thank you so much for joining the call today. So we're going to, as Kume mentioned, we're going to start about what the company is in itself, right? So Mono today, we are Africa's largest open banking company. So if you look at when we started 5 years ago, to date, we've connected about 7 million unique bank accounts, and that's about 10% of the unique accounts in Nigeria today, right? So when we say we're the largest open banking company, we truly mean that. So today we provide high financial quality financial data to businesses like lending companies. Majority of the lending companies in Nigeria today uses Mono to pull bank statements, to pull income data, and so much more. And then we also introduce direct debit payment to the market, which is one of the most reliable payment infrastructure for direct payments today in Nigeria. And then we have a suite of identity verification products. One of them is Lookup, and today we're introducing Monoprove to the ecosystem. So today Mono is available in Nigeria, Ghana, and Kenya. And we're also looking to go into other markets with our products very soon. So as I mentioned earlier, so if you look at the data that we have in terms of like our metrics. So we've processed about 20 billion worth of transaction data to our partners today. We are linked to about 100 financial institutions across Africa. So if you look at Nigeria, we are connected to all the banks in Nigeria today for your financial data, and also to pull transaction statements from customers' accounts, and same thing for direct debit as well. So we are able to directly debit majority of the financial institutions bank accounts in Nigeria today. And as I said earlier, we are live in 3 countries in Africa. So majorly we have 3 products as a company. The first one is Connect, which allows financial institutions, lending companies to pull high quality data for them to be able to make decisions before they give a loan to a customer, right? And then the second one is payment. So Mono today offers a no card payment solution, right? So in Nigeria today, you can use Mono Direct Debit to debit any bank account in Nigeria without cards, right? Which means zero chargebacks because the customers are actually authenticating the payments themselves, unlike card payment. And then the other one is Lookup, right? So Lookup today allows any business, right, to verify identity information. And yeah, so those are the 3 products that we have today, and we're excited to announce Monoprove, which is an additional product that we're offering to the ecosystem. So what is Monoprove? So if you look at how large the ecosystem in Nigeria has become in terms of like a lot of fintechs coming online, there needed to be a way for onboarding to be much smoother, right? Think of it, right? So you have companies like Cowrywise, Piggyvest offering savings accounts to customers, right? For you to onboard as a customer on each of these applications, you have to do separate verification, right? And it's it's like that across the ecosystem, right? So what we thought about was that, okay, how can we build a network that would enable customers to reuse their identity verification across the entire network, right? So Monoproof is a network, right? And it's going to enable seamless identity verification across Nigeria and hopefully soon across Africa. So why we built Proof, right? So number one is we really want to make customer onboarding much faster in Africa, right? Imagine how long it takes for you to onboard yourself as a customer. You have tier one, tier two, tier three, and tier three is the longest, right? So you have to verify your address, you have to verify your identity documentation, you have to do facial recognition, and so on and so forth, depending on the requirements of the business. Now imagine doing this across multiple applications, right? But we want to solve that, right? And the first thing is, how do we make sure that onboarding is smoother for every digital consumer across Africa, right? So the second one is, how do we reduce fraudulent signups, right? So today in our ecosystem, if one fraudster performs a fraudulent transaction on company A, there's not really a network that company B can use to look up the same customer and say, hey, you've actually performed fraudulent transaction on with customer with business A. We would allow you to onboard. Now, Monoproof offers this network, this aggregated network for businesses. So if a customer performs a fraudulent transaction on my platform, I can actually flag that using our Proof network, right? And across the entire network, they won't be able to sign up to any financial services, right? And then the last one is, how do you as a business stay compliant with KYC regulations, right? So you have tier one, tier two, tier three. So we have already built tiers for you as a business to just pass, right? You don't have to think about, okay, what do I have to collect for this tier one customer? You don't have to think about that. We've already done all the hard work, and all you have to do is tell us the tier that you want to verify the customer for, right? So those are the three things and why we've actually built this product for the ecosystem. Now, at scale, like I mentioned, Monoproof will become a one-click sign-up experience across the ecosystem. And this is the most exciting part, right? Imagine you opening up any application or any website today. You don't have to do the same verification that you've done on company A previously, right? All you have to do is give your consent to the business to access your tokenized data on the Monoproof ecosystem. Now, what are the key features of this product, right? So the first one is one-click sign-up, which is the most exciting thing for us, right? It's like, how do we enable reusable verified identities across the ecosystem, right? So you don't have to verify yourself multiple times. And the second one is enterprise-grade security. Every identity is tokenized, right? And all these are also compliant with CBN regulation and global data protection standards. All right, so the other one is instant frictionless boarding, which I already mentioned earlier. Multi-source verification. So today, Proof supports BVN, NIN, driver's license, anything you can think of in terms of like government issued IDs. We're able to verify this in real time, right? So you don't have to, you as a business, you don't have to wait for us to do that in the background. Instantly, we would verify those ID with the customer, and we just send you a webhook notification, and then you can make decision if you want to onboard the customer or not, right? Facial recognition technology, we've employed the latest AI technology here, which would allow us to detect deepfakes, right? Allow us to make sure that the person submitting this ID is actually the owner, right? So I think Monoproof is actually the first identity verification product in the market that solves for deepfakes, right? And then the last one is, how do you make sure that you as a business, you can actually help the ecosystem by flagging fraudulent users, right? How do we remove the bad actors in our ecosystem, right? So these are the features of Monoproof and why we're really, really excited about this product for the ecosystem. Now, who can use this product? Who can use Monoproof, right? The obvious customers are fintechs across Nigeria. So you can think of your savings applications, you can think of your payment applications, you can think of your merchant applications, you can think of lending companies. So one of our biggest customer for Monoproof today is a lending company that wanted a better way for them to quickly onboard customers, right? Because the more customers, the more verified customers that they can onboard, the more their TPV, the more their revenue. So this is actually really solving a problem for them, right? You can also think of digital banks, right? You as an owner, think about how long it takes for every customer that you pay to bring into your application. How long does it take them to onboard themselves, right? You've already spent so much money on advertisements, right? How about making sure that the onboarding is much, much smoother, right? And then you can think of like e-commerce as well, right? So you as a new age e-commerce solution, you want to make sure that the people that actually delivering those items are verified, right? Your delivery drivers are verified, so you can implement Monoproof to make sure that all your delivery drivers are verified and they're good to go. So again, what are the benefits of using Monoproof? So predefined KYC tiers. Your engineers, your developers, your product managers don't have to think about what are the requirements needed for you to onboard a customer, right? We've already done all of that for you, right? All you have to do as a business is pass the KYC tiers, and then we'll issue a link for that customers to verify themselves. The second one is identity tokenization feature. So again, returning customers don't have to like do the verification all over again, and it's the same thing across the ecosystem. And then the third one is inclusive verification. This is one of the thing that we're really proud of as a company. Like, how can our product be more inclusive, right? We've seen it. We've seen cases where you verify yourself and maybe there's an injury on your face and you're unable to use the application anymore, right? We've built Monoproof to be more inclusive for your customers, right? Which means that if a customer facial changes or anything at all, you're able to actually manually approve those verifications from our platform, which is very robust. And then the last one is faster setup, right? We have a very amazing developer documentation. I would say myself, we have the best documentation in the ecosystem. It's very clear, right? Anyone can go to the documentation and really understand what and how they can quickly use our products, right? And then we have the best technical product specialists that can really guide you through the process. As a CEO, as a CTO, or a developer, we have the team available to help you figure out how to improve your onboarding. And finally, so what are the verification tiers, right? So we have tier 1, which is the basic KYC according to CBN. And in this tier, we only need to verify your full name, your date of birth, your phone number, your BVN, and your name, right? So this is like the basic KYC, right? So we're able to do that. And then the intermediate KYC, which means that we're able to do government issued IDs, right? Think of like passport, voter's card, driver's license, right? And then the final one, which is like the advanced KYC, which is address verification, right? So today, Mono has the most intelligent address verification in the market, right? Because you don't have to install a separate SDK in your application for us to actually detect that this customer's address is actually a valid and they actually still living in that address, right? So our address verification that is plugged into Proof allows you to verify your customer's address almost instantly, right? You don't have to wait for 10 days for some agents to go to the address and manually confirm, right? So these are the verification tiers that we have into Monoproof. And one of the things that we are also going to be working on as an upgrade is that you can actually set your own tiers, right? You can decide your own flow and say, okay, this is what I really want to verify for this customer, and then you can do that yourself. So that's basically what we want to talk about on Proof. I think we're going to go to the exciting part now, which is like the product demo itself. And I'm going to let Prince demo the products to you guys. Thank you, everyone.
All right, thanks, Abdul. So I'll be sharing my screen now so we can kickstart the demo. All right. Please confirm if you can see my screen now.
Yeah, you're good to go.
All right, thanks. Yeah, so I'll be walking us through demo of monoproof. We're starting with how to initiate the widget, right? The requirements as well before the widget is initiated. So for proof, what we require is the name of the customer you want to verify, the email address of that customer, as well as the phone number. These are the required components. And then we also have a field for the reference, so you can provide a unique reference as an identifier for the verification. We also have an interesting feature called bank accounts, right? So you're also able to actually verify the customer's bank account details. And then you have the redirect area. And lastly, the interesting part, right? The KYC level. So for this demo, I'll be working with the tier 2 KYC level. So I'll just go ahead and send a request. All right, yeah, so as you can see on the response, we return the URL, which will be used to load the widget. So I'll just copy that, and there we can see the experience. Okay. Let me just share the screen now. All right, great. So we have the widget. This is the monoproof widget. As you can see, it already remembers me. That's the beauty of tokenization, right? I don't necessarily have to start afresh for every verification I want to do. So I'm already a part of the Mode ecosystem. So all I just need to do is to click on continue, and then it asks me how I want to receive my OTP. So the phone number already saved to my identity or the email. I can get to select any one of these. So I'll just choose the phone number option. So an OTP will be sent to my phone number. All right. All I have to do is just provide the OTP 3520. All right, so I successfully authenticated into the monoproof system. All right, as you can see, this is my personal information. It's already saved, already tokenized. All right, I can also choose to share additional information about myself, which is next of kin. I can enable or disable this. And then we also have the verification document section, as you can see. I'm already in the network, right? So my details are already verified, my BVN, NIN, and this is a tier 2 verification, right? So I have my government ID verified, at least one of them, which is my international passport. So I have all my documents already in the network. So I don't necessarily have to repeat the process again, which is very time consuming, right? So all I have to do is just grant permission to my data, and then there's a flexibility for customers to actually select the type of access they want. So there's continuous access. This gives you continuous access to the customer's information, so you can query for their details anytime you want, right? And then there's also a one-time access where the customer can specify the period you want to access their data. This falls in line with the data privacy regulations as well as the NDPR standards. So for this demo, we'll just go with continuous access, and then all I have to do is just verify my Face ID. So I'll just start the verification process. All right. So as you can see, we do liveness checks. We don't just capture images, right? So the system is going to check and ensure I'm the person, and then the verification is completed. So this is done under 40 seconds. So one of the fastest verification processes currently in the market. So also share how we can retrieve the customer information as well. So let me just share that now. All right. So with the reference that was used to initiate the widget, I can also query. We have an endpoint called get customer, and query this endpoint to retrieve the verified details of the customer. So I'll just send requests. And then as you can see, these are my details already verified and sent and shared with the business as well in less than 40 seconds. Right. So yeah, this is a demo of proof. Then I think I'll hand over to Kume for the next section of the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prince. Um, Now we'll be moving to how to integrate with proof and to integrate proof into your system and how to get started with monoproof. And to take this session, um, I'll be passing the mic to King. Hi, King.
Thank you, Kome. Hi, everyone. So in this session, I'll be walking us through how you can get started with Monoproof. The first step would be to set up your account on your dashboard. You need to provide the required information, the compliance information, and when you're done, you would have to request access to proof right on the dashboard. Once your account has been approved, you can then go ahead to create a proof app and make sure to set the scope to proof once created. Once it's fully created, you'll be able to see your app looking like this, and then you can proceed to use your test or live keys to make API calls. You can also proceed to add a webhook URL in the section as you can see on my screen. With the webhook URL
I'm
added,
not
you
sure
will
if you
get
can.
Sorry,
notified
King.
in view.
Sorry, we can't see your screen.
Come on, maybe you need to stop
Oh
sharing.
wow.
I'm not
Oh,
sharing my screen.
Oh, it's still showing the. Um,
Okay.
uh, uh, yeah, apologies about that. Let me reshare again. Please confirm if you can see my screen.
Yes, we can.
to go. Thanks.
Yeah. Thank you. I'll just do a quick recap, right? So once you have your account approved on the Mono dashboard for proof usage, you can go ahead to create an app. Once it's created, you will be able to toggle the app to live mode. And in this environment, you can make use of your proof secret keys to make API calls to the proof APIs. The good thing is you can also test in sandbox, right? So this allows you to play around with APIs and understand what the responses, the requests look like. You can also proceed to add a webhook URL to your proof app. This would enable us to notify you in real time all events that pertains to the users who have linked their proof session to your business. Next step would be to then review the API documentation. I believe a link has been shared in the chat box. It's very simple, well detailed, straight to the point, as it provides all the information you need to integrate proof in two simple steps. The good thing about proof again is that we have different SDK support, right? So with SDKs for Android, iOS, Flutter, React Native, and even the web, you get to integrate the proof product right into your platform without having your users to redirect away from your mobile app or your web app. Once you have fully tested end to end, you have reviewed the API documentation, you have done a few tests left and right, and you're satisfied with what you have integrated, you can proceed to go live with your implementation, and then you're set for proof utilization. Thank you.
Thank you very much, King. Um, all right. So just a quick summary of everything um we've gone over. We have spoken about Proof's mission, why we built it, we talked about key features, we talked about who can use Proof. We also spoke about the benefits of using monoproof for your business, and we spoke about the different verification tiers. We had Prince show us how proof works in action, and we also had King show us how to integrate monoproof. And now we'll be taking your questions. Um, you can use the questions tab to ask uh, any questions you have, and we'll answer. We currently have uh, a question from Ajibola Badmos, and Ajibola is asking, it says he's puzzled to understand address verification workflow because we said there's no need for external SDK. Hi, King. You're
King.
muted.
Sorry about that. Just to read the question out for the entire audience. I'm puzzled to understand the address verification workflow since you said there is no need for an external SDK. Right. So the SDK here is being can be replaced with an API library in some sense, right? So in a nutshell, the entire address verification process is being done within the proof UI, right? So you don't need to make any extra API call to the address verification API. You're providing the necessary information right on the UI, and there isn't any need for an extra dependency for integration. I hope this answers your question, Mr. Jibola.
Yeah, and also
Right.
just to add, thanks, King. Just to add as well, so the entire process basically requires the customer's meter number, and through that singular information, we're able to match that address that is returned from the meter to the address linked to either their BVN or name, right? So the idea is that if this customer is actually providing this meter and the address matches, and also the name on the meter as well, we're able to confirm that yes, this is actually your address, and this is the address that you currently you're present at the moment. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, King. Thank you, Abdul. We also have another question from Patrick 4. He's asking, will monoproof work for proxies like a company needing to prove the identity of people they represent?
Yeah, so this is a good question. So the way this would work is that the verification link can be sent to the company owners, and they can then use that to verify their identity. But today, monoproof only verifies individual identities, right? But I think next year we're also going to provide a way for businesses. So, for example, now if you are a business onboarding yourself on companies like Mono, for example, and you want to also use maybe Flutterwave, Paystack, MoneyPoint, you don't have to do the same verification all over again. You can tokenize that business identity as well. So that solves the problem, solves the problem as well for companies. But right now, Monoproof only works for individuals. And if you need to share that link to the company owners, you are also able to do that using our link, the proof link as well.
All right. Thank you, Abdul. Um, we have another question from Ajibola. Ajibola is asking, if you use address and name on the meter and required param for address verification, what happens to people, not the owner of the house they live in, or what happens to people's utilities that are registered in the landlord's name? How do you handle that?
Yeah, very good question. So on the Prove SDK in itself, we're able to actually look at the current location of the customer as well. So in case if you are actually doing the verification, maybe you are not at home at the present, the manual verification process kicks in, where the business can actually do the verification themselves, maybe request for more information from the customer to verify that identity. Let's say you're trying to verify yourself, but you are not at home, you're in the office, and we're unable to use the GPS to actually verify you. You're able to the business is able to do the manual verification in that case. So those are like the edge cases that we've implemented the manual verification for.
Thank you, Abdul. I hope this answers your question, Ajibala. Uh, we You can still ask questions. So there's a questions tab just at the bottom right. You can ask your questions and we'll answer. We'll just wait a few minutes for any more questions and then we'll proceed. So we're taking questions now. We have Abdul, we have King, and we have Prince to answer any questions you might have about monoproof. Um, We'll wait a few more minutes if you have any questions, and in the absence of none, we'll continue. Okay. There's a question from Oluwole. He's asking, what is the turnaround time for automated address GPS verification?
So it's almost instant, right? So if the customer is able to turn on their GPS on their mobile device or their web device, I mean we're able to use Google GPS to instantly verify that, right? So it doesn't take a long time. As far as the customer actually they've given consent for us to access that GPS information, so that should be good to go.
All right. Hopefully that answers your question. Oluwole. We have a question from Elijah. Elijah is asking, does monoproof maintain accuracy for users with irregular income patterns?
Okay, interesting question. So Monoproof doesn't verify your income. That's for MonoConnect, right? Monoproof is only just for identity verification. But I mean, there is a world where you can actually build a workflow to connect both products together, right? So there's a world where you use MonoConnect to verify your customer's income, and based on that income, you can decide if you want to do the identity verification or not, right? But it's a total different product entirely. Yeah, it's an interesting question.
All right. Thank you, Abdul. Um, we have another question from Ajibola. It says, lastly, the address verification takes how many days for all edge cases?
Prince, do you want to take that?
All right, yeah. So for edge cases, right? If it's the manual verification on the dashboard, the business is able to actually ask for more information, right? So we are looking at 24 to 48 hours for this edge case. So it's also dependent on the frequency at which the customer also provides the information that the business needs to also confirm.
All right. Thank you so much, Prince. I have another question from Patrick Fo. He's asking how are name changes handled?
In what case though? So I think probably you're asking if a customer made a change to their maybe the BVN or maybe your surname changed, right? So in reality, it doesn't really matter, right? So what we would do is that we would allow the business to toggle if they want us to do real-time identity information changes, right? So basically, if a customer links their identity with business A using Abdulhamid Azan, right, and I made a change to my surname, and I go to business B, while doing the onboarding, while linking my identity, I can actually make update to that by submitting new information, right? So as you can see, when Prince was doing the demo, there's an option for you to actually re-upload the information on your identity wallet, right? Before you grant that identity to new business, which makes the change across the entire ecosystem. And this is the reason why this product is so good, because if you can't have stale data, right? As you are onboarding yourself across the ecosystem, if your data changes, you can actually do the update, and then it goes around the ecosystem of customers using Monoproof. I hope that answers your question.
All right. Thank you, Abdul. Um, we have a question from Elijah. He's saying that we're tightening first time user checks. So his question is, what fraud prevention signals does Monoproof provide beyond basic identity confirmation?
Yeah, good question, Prince. Yeah, you can think that.
All right, yeah. So beyond basic identity confirmation, right? We also integrate with databases like a watch list database as well as blacklist databases. So once you initiate a customer, right, we're able to check if the customer is also included in some of these databases, like the watch list database for NIPS and so on. So even before just confirmation, right, we're also able to do checks with the customer's details just to confirm that they're not part of some of these databases. All right.
All right. Thank you, Prince. We hope that answers the question, Elijah. All right. Thank you so much. We have come to the end of question and answer. We can still take your questions if you have any, but in the absence of none, uh, we've come to the end of today's session. I want to say a big thank you to everyone that joined us today. It was really lovely to have everyone here. Um, we hope you have learned a thing or two about Mono and its mission to, transform how businesses onboard customers and customer onboarding in general. We have so many resources available to you to help you understand Monoproof. Uh, you can learn about more about Mono by visiting our website. So mono.co/prove. We have links in the chat to our integration, our documentation. We have links in the chat to watch videos on Prove. So we have um, videos on YouTube to show you how Prove works, how to integrate, and so many resources for you. You can check that out on our YouTube page. And we also have links to our API documentation and also our partner Slack. So if you want to reach out to, if you want to talk to our technical product specialist, we have links as well in the chat for you to send them a message. So please go through the chat. All our resources are linked there, and just tap on the link and get answers for proof if you have any. Also, we will be sharing a replay of this webinar on all our social media platforms, and also you will be getting a replay of the webinar as well in your mailbox. So please keep an eye out in case you want to go over it, you want to watch and replay the session. It will be in your email and also on our social media platforms. Uh, Lastly, if you have any questions whatsoever, if you've gone through all our documentations, all our resources, and you still have questions, please send us an email at support@mono.co. We have our team members will be very happy to answer any of the questions you might have and provide support where necessary. I want to say thank you so much for joining us once again, and we hope you have an amazing, amazing evening. Bye, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Bye bye.